Alright, so this is going to be a shorter video. This is just going to let us know how to use this new maintenance code. So we have a customer, Charlie Sheen. I went out and did this job today. I come down here and I come to private notes. Now, private notes is where we've traditionally kept all of our maintenance information, such as call the client in 3 years for Hydrojet, things like that. But we are going to now have it a little bit more organized. So we're going to open up this, which everyone is going to get a copy of. And basically, it asks us questions. So the first question is, did we sign this person up for a FERC? And in this case, let's say Charlie thought it was an amazing idea to have us come back. So I'm going to say yes. Then we're going to go maintenance code. I'm going to get this from here. This is where we see the maintenance code listed out. And it's going to be anything from B2 to D5. That's something, one of these is going to be the maintenance code. Up at the top, we can see what kind of maintenance it's going to need. On the left, it's the most mild, review inspection. Then, as we start to go over, on the right, it says we definitely need a Hydrojet. So that's when we see lots of roots, or we just did a Hydrojet cleaning, so they're going to need another one in a year, something like that. Then we have another one here. It says Hydrojet might be needed. This is a great one for if we see that the roots are pretty mild, and we're recommending Hydrojet in, let's say, a year or two, and we're not sure if the roots are going to grow much in that year or two, and if they don't grow at all, we're not really going to need that Hydrojet. So they're going to schedule a Hydrojet, but they need to have an R factor at the time of scheduling that says, by the way, if we get out there and we find out that you don't really need a Hydrojet, we're going to save you some money by decreasing the cost from, $585 or whatever the Hydrojet cost is, down to just the inspection fee plus $100 for the extra, because we scheduled them for a 2.5 hour time slot for the Hydrojet, so we can't just charge them a normal inspection fee. Okay, so that's why that is there. That's why this whole column is there, the C column. Okay, then we have the rows, and as we are at the top row here, that's showing that we have really good access. We've got like a 4-inch cleanout or a bullhorn cleanouts or something that's definitely going to work for our maintenance. As we go down to the very bottom, we do not have enough access. We don't have enough access to do a review inspection. We don't have enough access to do a cleaning. They need to install an access before they schedule us to come out to do our maintenance. But in the middle, there are two middle options. The higher of the middle options says that, we don't really know if this access is going to work for hydrojetting, but it's worth a try. Go ahead and try hydrojetting it using the existing access. At least that way you know whether or not you need to install a new access or not. Sometimes installing a new access, let's say at the property line, to be able to be sure that they can do a hydrojet, if that's deep out there, that might cost them $6,000 or $5,000 just to install that access. And if they don't need to do the cleaning, they should know that there's a chance that they might be able to do the cleaning without that. So that's an important thing. When I'm sending emails out, I'm going to want to know that they fall into that category, because my email is going to be worded specifically to people who are falling into that category. Then the next one is the access is okay for inspection, but not hydrojet. This would apply pretty well to houses where there was a few roots. We want to check it in a couple of years. If we know that the access is not okay for a hydrojet, we don't want to schedule them for a hydrojet and then downgrade it to an inspection, because if we find out that they, if they need that hydrojet, we won't be able to do it, and it's going to make us look really silly. So we need to know what the access situation is. And sometimes we'll have a cleanout that we went in through, let's say a roof vent. It worked great for the inspection. It was actually no problem. It was an easy inspection, but we had to go on the roof. So obviously we're not going to be able to do a hydrojet from there. let's say we didn't strongly recommend that they install a new cleanout. In this example, because let's say the pipe comes out under the driveway and it would have cost them $2,500 to install a new cleanout, and we just didn't even know if the roots were going to grow. We didn't know if they were going to need to do cleanings. So we didn't want to tell them to do $2,500 of work and then maybe not get any benefit. So yeah, so we just went ahead and said, look, have us come out in 2 years, look at the line. If it needs a hydrojet, then yeah, let's go ahead and have you install that new cleanout. But if the roots look the same in 2 years, then you're probably doing fine. Okay, so these are what they are. So let's put in for an example. Let's say this example, they definitely need a hydrojet. They have a good cleanout. So in this case, its hydrojet cleaning is definitely needed, and they have a good cleanout, so that's a D2. I'm going to go up into here and I'm going to write D2. And just to keep it uniform, we're actually going to keep these all lowercase. Let's do that lowercase too. Everything lowercase. Just let's not bother with uppercases. Just to be, I don't even know how important that is, but just for the hell of it, let's keep it lowercase there. Okay, years to next maintenance. Now, let's say on this particular one, the pipe was full of roots. It needs the cleaning now just to even be able to see the pipe clearly. I'm going to put 0 years to maintenance. So that's going to tell us that that maintenance is needed right away. Now, another option is if it was, let's say, a year to maintenance, I would obviously put 1 there. Or 3 years to maintenance, I put 3 there. But let's say it's half a year. Let's say it's 6 months. So then I would just put 5 there, 0.5. Okay. In this case, I'm going to say it's 0 years to maintenance because on this particular example, there's tons of roots. Okay, maintenance notes. Let's go ahead and put a couple bits of information. Let's say there's a fiberglass liner for first part of pipe. Pipe, be careful not to damage it. Also, you need to make sure that they save you a parking space in front of the house because they have no driveway, and it is hard to find parking normally. Okay, I mean, this is the kind of thing that I run into sometimes on hydrojets. I've had to come back to a hydrojet once. 2 times I came back because they didn't have any parking available. I couldn't park the van. So a note like that is really helpful when it's called for. And then for the inspector name, in this case, you're going to save your copy with your name in there, so you won't have to enter that every time. You just have it in there for the template when you open it up. Okay, so now I've entered in all this data, and guess what? It's put it already into the sequence, into the format that we can use. All I have to do is click on this green box and then copy that. And then I'm going to come over to the email or to the House Call Pro. I'm going to create a brand new private note, and I'm just going to paste in that information. As you can see, it puts all the things, the little semicolons that it needs to be. It puts everything into the sequence it needs to be in. That's all done for you. All you have to do is create that note. And now that that note is created, when we export this information, it will include each one of those things the way we need it to be included. Now there's another video that goes over all of the changes that I've made in great detail, including showing an example of how Melissa is going to be opening up a new client and starting a new job and creating the whole House Call Pro setup. As you can see, there's other code in here that Melissa already entered for you right up here in the green section. So that's all included in the other video if you're interested. But this is the video that covers what an inspector has to do for this particular thing. Now, if you need to edit something, right, you can come into it and just edit it, right, directly, or you can delete the note, and re-enter the data in here to edit it, recopy it, and repaste it. Either way works. What you don't want to do is you definitely do not want to erase any semicolons, and you absolutely do not want to use semicolons in the text of what you're writing. You start using semicolons and it throws everything off. So basically, unless they're being used specifically to create a new column, which is all pretty much done in the template, you don't have to do that yourself, we shouldn't be using semicolons in any of our text when we're typing into Housecall Pro, because that's going to mess with this workaround that we have. All right, thanks very much, and I hope this was helpful. Watch it over and see if you have any questions with it. We'll talk about it on the staff meeting.